Hi folks, welcome to the Computer Basics, and in this very first episode I'm going to be talking to you about the mouse, just basically discussing how to use it, because not a lot of people actually know how to use it. I know it sounds strange, but it's quite a tricky thing to get used to. So for all those that need basic knowledge, stay around and I'll show you about the mouse. Okay, so the first thing to bear in mind is there are very many different variants of mouse out there. The one I'm using is a wireless mouse. I'll go into different detail in later videos. This is slightly ergonomic and is designed for the right-handed people, and most people actually think that a mouse has to be used right-handed. That's not actually the case. With this one it is, because it's an ergonomic mouse, but you can actually change the settings on the mouse so that you can use it left-handed and right-handed. I'm ambidextrous, so I can use it right-handed or left-handed, but I do prefer it right-handed because that's the way I've used it since I've started using a mouse. Now it may look like there aren't any buttons on there apart from these on the sides. I won't be discussing those in this video because that's for a later date. I'm going to be discussing there are 3 buttons: the left click, the right click, and there's a scroll. Now you may think that's actually not a button, but it is a clickable button. So although it doesn't seem like a button, it actually is. So for a right-handed person, the left click is your main function. So if you're clicking on something, I'll show you a demo in a moment. Clicking on something, it would always be the left click, and then action is always the right click, and I'll explain the scroll wheel click a bit later on as we go on to the video. Okay folks, so as you can see, I've got this connected to a computer. It's actually a Mac, but that doesn't have any bearing on how to use the mouse. So as you can see on Google here, I've searched for mouse, and I am just hovering over things, just moving. I'm not actually clicking anything at all. The scroll, if you want to move down the screen, you can scroll. I call this down. A lot of people will think that's up. Because the screen is moving up, it really is entirely up to you. The way you describe it, it's neither here nor there. So the actual scroll wheel, you can change it so that I like it so that when I scroll down, the screen goes up. Some people think that is weird, and when they scroll down, they want the screen to go down. So the opposite of what I like. So that majority of people like it that way. I'm just very weird. The left click, as I said, is the action thing. So if you want to actually click on a website, so here we're going to go on to Wikipedia that discusses mouse. So you would a single left click, and there you are, onto Wikipedia, and you can read all about the mouse. And once you've finished with that, you can just click the simple back button there. I'm showing you on a Chrome browser. There are other browsers, and I'll explain those in later videos. The right click does a completely different thing. So if I was to go back onto Wikipedia link there and perform a right click, it gives you a list of options to do. Now, there are quite a few, mainly on the internet. You would open a link in a new tab which does this. I'll just show you, but we're not doing right click anymore. We're on to the left click, which is the the actual doing something. So what you've actually done there is you've opened this web page but in a different tab, so you can see it there, and we're back onto the mouse on Wikipedia. So we've got two web pages open but in the same browser. So that's left click is to select, so we can select the same one again and then go back. Or if you didn't mean to go back, you can go forward and go back to where you were. The right click is to select something. So if we go onto Wikipedia for Computer Mouse, you can right click and open the link in another tab, and you can see that that tab is open there. And we can click on it and we can read about it. Okay, so I hope that I've explained that well enough to you. It's hard to get across. It is something that's quite difficult to get your head round initially, but once you're there and you know the difference between the left click and the right click, you know the different things, because there's also a double click, which I will go further into in another video. So if you want to practice your left click and your right click, and then you should be good to move on to the next video, where I'll be discussing double clicks and other mouse functions for you. If you've got any questions, just drop a comment, and remember, if it's basic, it's easy.